Happy New Year, everyone! Welcome back to the Zooming Through Education podcast. Today, we're going to talk about organization, but before we get into it, we're going to do a little check-in. So it's about winter break. So I'd like you to describe your break in 3 words.
I honestly wouldn't even know where to start. Short, not a break. Oh yeah, that's perfect. Not a break. There you go.
Yeah. No, I was able to relax. So relaxing, lazy, just because there were days where I'd have trouble getting up. And food, because I ate a lot of food, a lot of good food. Learned to cook a lot of things, so that was fun. Yeah.
That's good. I think for me, I'd say unproductive, restful, and stressful.
Yeah.
Those go together.
Perfect. Sounds great.
Sums up everything in life.
So
Okay.
I have a question, Sarah. Why did you
Yes.
find that you were unproductive during the break? I mean, we kind of talked about it in our messages, but
Because I decided, I got a lot of books at Christmas, and I decided, why read one when you can read 10 in 3 weeks?
wow. 10?
7 were in 2021, and now I'm up to 9 read in 2021. I'm stress reading, but it's great, and I love it.
I thought you were talking about one book,
No,
let alone
You
10.
read 10.
no, I showed you the one I'm going to read later. I'm going to finish it. I'm like 200 pages in almost, but yeah, it's great.
I think that's productive. I don't think that's unproductive for sure.
It's escapism, fantasy-filled escapism, and I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you're
Okay.
definitely gonna have to give our viewers the list of books that you got.
Follow me on Goodreads.
Oh my god.
Don't follow me on Goodreads. Okay, so getting into it. So this week we started second semester again. Kind of wanted to talk about asynchronous versus synchronous learning and what our schedules are kind of looking like, because the lovely printed schedule that they provide us is a lie.
Oh yeah.
This? Yes.
And mine over here.
This is not when classes are. How do you feel about asynchronous learning?
I have a lot of thoughts on asynchronous learning. I think for me it's a little bit more difficult just because the workload seems to be a lot more, or should I say the reading load. So that's been hard. And the reason why I'm a little bit stressed too is because my youngest sister is doing online learning now just because schools aren't open yet. So I've been dealing with her and my own work at the same time, and it's been difficult. Yeah. So that's how I feel.
So a quick update for those of you that are watching in the future and maybe don't know what we're talking about. Ontario is currently, it's Ontario that's within a stay-at-home order right now.
Mhm.
And so schools have been, closed, and all classes have been postponed. Well, they've been put on to virtual learning, virtual education up until, what is it, the 25th of January? Or now I think
Yeah, but I think they're going to reassess it close to
Yeah,
that
they're going to
time.
keep extending it.
So COVID, it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's an artifact of COVID's past.
It's reminiscent of last year.
Well, I will definitely not miss this time. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So asynchronous. Sarah, like you were saying about the schedule being a lie, just like the cake is a lie, but the schedule is definitely a lie. I am not even kidding you. Coming back from the break, my brain has been just not here. I'm still on holiday time. But even just looking at the schedule that I have printed out, like I'm in the intermediate learners part 2 that takes place on Monday and Wednesdays. And the Monday class is asynchronous. And I'm like, I always forget that. So I constantly like wake up before class and I'm like, okay, we have class today. And then I'm like, JK, it says asynchronous down there. I don't have class. So it's very chaotic.
I don't look at my schedule anymore. That one printed on the fridge, I don't look at it.
Me neither.
It's not relevant to my life. So that kind of goes into how are you staying organized at this time?
Ooh, good question. I use a planner. So I bought this from Indigo last year.
Pretty.
I was really excited. Yeah, it's really cool. And when you flip to each month, you're able to plan out like your overview. So your goals for the whole month, any anniversary or birthday dates, and to-dos. So like if you have a deadline for a presentation, you can put it down there. And then I use the calendar, and then those are all my deadlines. They're all coming up, so that's going to be fun. They're usually presentations though. And then I have a weekly to-do thing. So for every day, I have a to-do list. So that's how I organize my stuff.
You're very neat.
I am very neat, but then do I actually accomplish everything on the list? That's the real question.
Do you find that with your agenda, just because you don't like, I don't know, do you keep it open constantly on your desk to like the date that you're at, or like do you keep it shut and like put away?
Oh, I constantly keep it open because if I don't, I'll forget something for sure.
Yeah, I was just about to ask you
reminder.
that, just because like I know with last year 1, I wrote out everything. I was like super organized, but my agenda half the time was just like stuffed into my bag. So like there would be days where I would come into class and like we would have conversations, be like, oh yeah, this is due like next class, and I'm like, what? What do you mean? And then I'm like looking at my agenda, I'm like, why did I see this?
Yeah, no, you need to keep it open. You can't, because then I'm like that too. Because last year I had a bigger agenda and I would keep in my bag or like in my desk drawer, and then I would forget about it. So that's why I decided to buy a smaller one. So then it would fit on top of my desk without having to take too much space when I'm doing my other things. So
you want to hear a horror story to do with agendas? Well,
yeah.
to do with disorganization actually. So in my undergrad, when I went to York, I was taking a few classes, and this was in my last year. So in my last year, they had it was the second strike that I happened to, be a
Was
part
this 2018?
of. Yeah, 2018.
Yeah.
So funny thing, a lot of our like syllabuses got switched up. And so the scheduling didn't really work out in most of them. And so our professors sent out new syllabuses, syllabi, I guess that would be the word.
By, yeah.
Syllabi.
It's okay.
But I never changed the information written in my agenda to like the new schedule or so forth.
Yeah.
So imagine my horror when I walk into my poli-sci class, and I'm not a poli-sci major. So, just had to be one of the electives that I had to take. It was whatever. Anyways, I walk into my poli-sci class, and my friend, one of my old friends, Robin, sits down beside me. She's like, "Are you ready?" I'm like, "For what?" She's like, "The exam's today." I'm like, "I'm sorry. What?" She's like, "Yeah, we have our exam today. We're writing about like so and so." And I'm like, "No." She's like, "Yeah, the exam's today." I'm like,
Wow.
"Oh." I don't think I've ever felt more stressed in my entire life.
That would be stressful.
I passed it. I did great. So
Good.
But like, it was just in those like 10 minutes, because I always showed up early to class too, because I'm like, oh, I'll always get my seat, so forth. I opened up my textbook and I was like flipping through pages being like, photographic memory, please, like help me out. It was not a Not a fun time, not gonna lie. So stay organized.
Yeah, that sounds like a nightmare.
Yes, it was.
I also have an agenda, and I'd like this is this week.
Aw.
It's pretty neat, but like I want to show you the chaos because I'm an organized person, but my brain is chaotic. So then it'll turn into something like this, just absolute madness. Different colors, they don't mean anything at that point. They're just there. I think one of the features I use the most though is the month overview.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I also have a calendar on my wall, like a big
Good.
calendar. Don't you have a big calendar, Joanna?
It's like
Yes,
I
she
have
does.
a calendar. It's still on December, and there's nothing written in, but it's there.
It is
Oh,
there.
Yeah.
Honestly, the moment December hit, like the break, I needed like to completely clear my head. It's been too much this year. So
Yeah, I agree with that.
I think with well, synchronous and asynchronous learning, especially with like discussion board posts, making sure you show up to class when you have class, because sometimes you don't have it, sometimes you do. It just depends. And then all the readings, I always need to like jot it down somewhere. I even make to-do lists for the day. A lot of the times the to-do list doesn't completely get complete, but it's there.
Yeah, that's me. That happens to me all the time. That's why I like to use highlighters to,
Love a
really
good
indicate-
highlighter.
Yeah. I'm thinking of buying the pastel colored ones because I think it would look better with the aesthetic of my planner. And I feel like that would put my mind more at ease.
I have like 8 different colors of highlighters.
I'm just thinking of all,
Ooh.
like the younger viewers that are probably like, wow, pastel highlighters, that's what makes you excited. And it's like, this is what you
Yes.
can look forward to when you're an adult.
The small things. COVID makes you excited about everything now.
Flare pens.
Oh my gosh. Let's
Those.
talk.
I don't know where they are.
Are we all reaching for a flare?
I have a brush pen for calligraphy.
Nice.
I have a
And
bunch
like
of big gel pens.
Ooh,
These
I also have some
gray-
of those.
gray gel pens, and then Muji is my favorite.
Oh yeah, the Muji
Yeah.
pens are amazing. You know
Love
that I had somebody steal one of my pens from me
Really?
last year? My Muji pen too. I'm like,
Wait,
How
in
dare
class?
they?
yeah,
In class?
I left it.
Oh,
I left it on the side and then I went for break and then I came back and I just couldn't find it. So I'm like, it's gone. It's disappeared.
that's awful.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
have lots
I
of
think somebody
colored
must have
pens.
taken it thinking
By
it was
accident?
theirs, probably. That's what I'm
Maybe I took it.
No,
No.
no, probably not. Because I know
Oh,
you'd
okay.
be like, oh, here.
No, because like, why would I take it from your
Yeah, no.
side of the? Yeah, that makes no sense.
It was on the day, I think like the last class that we had with Kelly in English, where we were going around and signing things. So that was,
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that makes sense.
It could still be in that room,
probably
being fair.
In a corner.
I'm gonna drive to Trent and go to that room, that one corner room.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so I
So-
love stationery. It's really fun.
I also love it. It's bad. Take me to Staples. I love Staples.
Yeah, Staples.
Oh my god. Have you watched, this is side note, have you watched like haul videos? Like people
Oh,
getting
all the time.
office supplies? Love that.
They're
great.
therapeutic.
They really are.
It's like, oh, I'm gonna say that in my shopping cart right now. If it's on Amazon, especially, go straight there.
Listen, I follow this new page on Instagram. It's called like Costco finds. And they had this one thing that I really wanted, and I know it would be pointless because I would just like stuff random stuff into it, but it was like for your desk, and the front part of it was like a drawer, like a tiny drawer, and the front part of it was a whiteboard. I'm like, I need it in my life. It was only, I think, like $20 or something. And so I'm like, but that's not essential. Like, should I go and risk my life to Costco to get it? And I'm like, no, but I might have to go out for groceries, so I'll keep it in mind.
Yeah.
Do you find that the way you stay organized when you're teaching is different than when you are the student?
Yes.
Oh yeah,
How
big time.
so?
Like I have, when I'm teaching, I like for placement, I had all of my stuff already in the window brought up. Well, I taught virtually too. So it was like
Mhm.
I had to have it up and organized because you have like such a short time frame to get yourself ready. And in that time frame, like as a student, we all know, we've all been there where your teacher's just like, oh, the tech won't work, give me a minute. And it takes like 20 minutes and you're like not in the class anymore. You're like, we're hanging out, we're, talking. So you need to be on it.
Yeah, I would use the sticky notes feature on my computer because I use a Mac. Because I felt like the planner wasn't as useful for me for some reason. Maybe because I was using a student's desk, so I didn't really have much to work with. So I would put those sticky notes in the corner to set reminders for myself, like, oh, you have to plan this tonight. This assignment's due in a few days. Work on this assessment. So that's what I did, and it was pretty helpful. But you still have to be on top of everything, as Joanna said.
I had like a like to call it like a living document for my unit plan, because even though it was planned, sometimes things would move or change. So it was a mess. I typed it up after. It looked beautiful in the end. But I had like sticky notes I love sticky notes. I put sticky notes everywhere to remind me. I'm like, this is the photocopier code, this is this.
Yeah.
Because I only use binders when I'm on a placement. I don't use them for me as a student, I found, especially now. Yeah. Sticky notes on the computer in real life.
Everything.
I found sticky notes where the whole note is sticky, not just the top part.
Oh.
Entire note. What can I stick it to?
Where's
Look
the link
at
in
that.
the description?
Link in the description.
Lay's flat. Product placement. Hashtag ad. No, it's not an ad.
Yeah,
Not sponsored.
Staples or Amazon?
Got them at Staples.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I know that we kind of walked past it with agendas, but did you guys ever do you have more than one agenda for the year?
I only have one.
So
I
I have
have one.
You have two.
Oh.
I have one for like personal, like if I have like appointments or anything, and then I have one that's like set for like school/work.
Oh, that's good.
Because it's like I feel like if I have everything in one spot, that's like I can't fit it all in. There's no way.
Yeah, it gets chaotic. I do know
Plus-
people who do that, who have separate planners.
Yeah,
I just don't myself.
true. I mean, like I have like this is like my personal one, which is like tiny, also from Walmart. So
Really cute.
and then I have my second one, which is under like 20 documents here because that's how organized I am right now. And that's for school because it's like the bigger pages and everything. Also, look at the chaos that's going on inside.
Sticky notes. They're
Sticky
great.
notes for everything.
Seriously.
It looks unorganized, but also all of your sticky notes are in one place. So is it unorganized? I don't know.
Literally, this is a lesson. This is an entire lesson. Isn't that crazy?
Placement?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it was written out just to like think of what could be written out and like what I could do. I'm like, yeah,
It's pretty good.
So speaking of workspaces, what does your workspace look like? Because I know some of us, well, actually all of us are at home.
Yes.
So
Are we actually going to show it?
well, we don't need to necessarily show it. You can describe it if you want. You can show it.
Can you hear the stuff falling?
Yeah, I can hear the stuff falling. It's fine.
Well, I can't really show it to you this
Well,
way.
what room are you working out of?
Oh, I'm in my bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
I can only do my best work here in my bedroom because everyone else is out there talking. And I need the silence, so. Yeah, my desk is small. It's actually a combination of my workspace and my vanity. So
Nice.
yeah, it's really weird. I can link the desk below.
Listen, we both know that I'm gonna be linking this. This isn't even you.
I'll send it to Joanna and she'll link it if you want it. No, I'm kidding. You need a bigger desk, I think, as you get older.
Yeah. So I used to have a place in Peterborough and I obviously had to move back home. But my dad was like, we're going to get rid of all of your furniture from Peterborough. We're not going to use it ever. Like, we're not going to need it. And then all of a sudden it's just like, oh, where's your desk that you had in Peterborough? We need it now. I'm like, oh, interesting. So his work computer, so like my desk is like an L. So it's like that. And the wall's behind me, obviously. But because we had to move like a bunch of furniture around because we were like making a room, like a bedroom for my grandmother. So now there's a sofa in here, a coffee table, like a side table, 2 desks in the corner. And I'm just here. I'm like in my little like computer space. Not super clean right now, just because again, everything closed down. So my dad had to come back from work and he's working from home again. So it's very interesting sharing this space with him, to say the least.
Yeah.
Even today, the podcast, he's like, when are you going to be done? I need to print stuff. I'm like, you have the entire day to print. Like, please just let me record this.
Yeah, the printer's not going anywhere.
I honestly, I was like this close to unplugging it because I'm like, he'll turn it on. He won't even think about it. He'll just press print and then it'll start going off again.
Yeah, that's a smart idea.
Yeah, my workspace, I'm in my bedroom. I have a desk, but it's tiny and it has no drawers. And this is my fault. I purchased this desk because I was like, it's small, it'll fit in the corner. I need drawers.
Will
a new
your desk have a link in the description too?
No, I got it on Kijiji. I don't know where it's from. But like I have a mini fridge beside my desk, which has just become storage space for all the COVID prac stuff and my hole punches, and like I have alcohol spray.
I thought that you were gonna stop after the first one. I was like,
and alcohol spray.
No, it's just like it's all the hand sanitizer and disinfecting wipes and anything that I had COVID related from prac is just there beside my desk, and it's driving me insane. But
so how do you organize that stuff? Like,
you don't. So like the hole punches are on the bottom, and then I have my masks. Like I have a box of masks with the cloth masks on top.
Nice.
So I know all the masks are in a place. I have to have everything organized to work or I can't focus. So it's been driving me a little bit crazy just being in this room. I feel like I'm trapped. And because I don't have a lot of space, I end up sitting on my bed, which I know from my psychology class, you should not work on your bed, but I do. And that's how I got my undergrad. That's how I get this degree. So
you got a bachelor's degree.
Good job, Sarah.
Yeah.
See, and now you're in the bed program.
I know. Yeah, because especially on prac, I like having everything out in front of me, and I work better on paper. So I end up with a million papers, but I've been trying to make it work. I have been trying to sit at my desk. It's not happening at times, but I'm going to force myself to do it more because then I feel like this is a workspace.
Speaking about organizing yourself on paper, I actually had a question. Do you ladies find that you would prefer to have everything written out on like a piece of paper or like even a whiteboard rather than having everything written out online? Because I know that some people do like the Google Calendar and like they hook it up with like the rest of their Google, stuff. And so they kind of like live off of that. So they have everything on like every single device. It's accessible. But like, do you find that you're that type of a person or not really?
I'm a paper person.
Me too.
And it's bad. And it needs to stop.
You're a sticky note type of person.
I'm a sticky note paper person. I have a lot of sticky notes. I have a lot of paper. I will, like right here, random paper. What do these say? I don't know. Actually, I do know. One of them's about the podcast, one of them's about OCT, and one of them's about, it's a list what I was supposed to do today. But I like writing things out. I do put appointments in my phone in the calendar there because it'll remind me. That's about it.
Yep. I use the notes app sometimes on my phone when I think of something when I'm not close to my planner. So in case I forget and I don't have any sticky notes or anything. So I put it on my phone and then I transfer it later on. Usually I remember. Sometimes I don't because things have been crazy. But yeah, I like to use that as something to help me.
Yeah, I don't really like the whole. I'm like the both of you. Like Sarah, I'll do appointments, like dentist appointments, so forth, on my phone, like as a reminder. But besides that, everything is on paper.
Mhm.
And like obviously, it's not the best thing for the environment, but I find that when you write stuff out on paper, it gives you like a better reminder. Like,
Yeah.
if you're taking notes on your laptop, how many
They've done
times
studies on that. Do
exactly?
you know how many times in first year profs would get mad at people that bring computers and they'd be like, hey, just gonna say this, you sit at the back or the sides, don't be in the middle because people are trying to write and don't want to see your screen. And they're like, hey, I'm just letting you know they've done studies, you remember stuff better if you write it out.
Yeah. I know that I had one professor who taught it, like, well, I had her for like 3 different classes in my undergrad, and no tech was allowed. No phones, no laptops, nothing. You had to take all of your notes on like in a notebook on paper, and you couldn't even if we were doing like a research kind of thing, you would have to go to like the library pretty much to go and look up books. Everything had to be like physical copy.
Yeah, there's definitely accessibility issues with that because a lot
Yeah.
of profs are like that.
I think she, unless you had like,
You had a letter
yeah,
from
you had to get a
accessibility.
letter saying that
Yeah.
like you needed to take notes, or like we had a program at York that you could take notes for students that were unable to attend classes due to different reasons.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that was also, I think, one of the things that she allowed laptops for. But yeah.
Yeah.
How are you finding time management? Like, do you have a set routine or?
After break, not really.
Yeah.
I think before,
What is it going to look like going forward after this week? Because this week's kind of weird.
I would say, like, obviously, personally, I need to reorganize just because everything is everywhere, and like we have so many assignments due starting next week. And so it's really necessary to get on task with that and read through everything that I need to read through, including all of the SOCO reading responses that I'm like halfway through.
Okay, Joanna.
Caitlin.
I think you already know where I'm at with those. Don't need to say anything. But I should have a routine just because my sister uses this laptop for most of the day. So I can't really do much until I have the laptop. And that's the thing about asynchronous learning. Everything's online. So it really sucks. I have to rely more on my device now more than ever. Because like when I was doing my undergrad, I relied on notebooks too. So I was that type of person. And I only used the device if I had like an exam or if there was a reading online or to do papers, but that was pretty much it. So it is different. But yeah, I do have to revolve around my sister's usage of this device. I have to reorganize that. So
I think one of the biggest things for me is trying to remember to schedule in human time, like remembering to go eat, remembering I have to go do this or this, because I'll forget, especially if I have class for like 4 hours straight. I just won't. And then be like later in the day, I'll be like, why don't I feel good? Oh, I didn't eat today and it's 6 p.m. That would be why. I
need one of those like water bottles that like reminds you to drink water.
Oh, I need that too, probably, because I just yeah. I'm really bad at that. I'll forget to do the most basic of things because I'll be like, well, I'm trying to do this and this right now, and I need to get this done, and I'm not going to do this until I get this done. Setting like small goals for myself. Like, I can't read until I do this. I can't watch an episode of anything until I've accomplished these 3 things today.
Yeah, it's a good way to go about it, for sure.
Yeah. It's tricking myself into being productive.
But then you could also trick yourself out of being productive.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the downside.
Yeah, that is a downside. But
I've definitely had those times where it's just like you sit there and you're like, I have to get through this. I have to get through this. And then like you're like, but I mean,
it's not due till February.
exactly. I could schedule
So
a
far away.
break. That's like I'm trying to fill out master's applications now, and I got an email yesterday, and it was like mini heart attack because one of my references, one of the people that was supposed to write my reference, had not handed in the form, and it was due in November. So yeah, it was very awkward. And so I know that she was going through some stuff, and that's why like she wasn't able to. So I just kind of like, I thought to myself, I'm like, okay, like I'm not gonna bother her. I'm just gonna, I have like 3 people who have agreed to be references for me. So I just swapped her name out with another person, and I made sure to call the school, like the school that I was applying to, like, hey, so I have a situation. I got an email, I explained the situation, and they're like, yeah, sure, no worries, just swap it out. But it's interesting because I feel like organization with all of that, like it can just, like one thing can happen and like your entire schedule and everything just gets like thrown out the window because of it.
Yeah, I have to be flexible.
Yeah, that happens a lot.
Like even now with like everything's changing day to day because of COVID, right? Like I know that we've probably all had our set schedules when we were going to school in person versus having everything online. I don't know about you ladies, but I'm fucking like I'm so exhausted. Like
I miss driving because I used to have to drive 45 to 50 minutes to school, and I miss driving just because it was like my time where I could think about all the stuff I have to do, or I could just put on an audiobook or a podcast, and then it was like my set time, and I knew I had that time to and from school, and I don't have that anymore. I don't drive as often. Just sad. I miss it.
Yeah, I used to commute to school, so that was a good hour and a half ride to and from school. But it was good because I was able to be productive during that time. So I would use that time to catch up on readings or read my own book, play games on my phone as a way to relax. Sometimes I took naps, so that was nice. The only good thing about not commuting is that I saved a lot of money this year.
Yeah,
for bus fare.
That's definitely true.
So that's amazing for me.
But did you find that with your commutes, like you use that time wisely? Obviously, like napping is necessary, right? Because like if you don't get enough time to sleep at night, then like obviously you need to sleep. But if you hadn't read a reading for class for that day, like would you ever just, like, okay, I'm reading this entire reading before I get into class and I'm getting it over and done with?
Yeah, sometimes I wouldn't nap in the morning. So I would nap after classes because I was really exhausted. So I was able to do readings or skim through them on the bus before class. But after, I made sure if I was really tired that I would nap, just because I didn't want my energy level to be so low later on at home when I actually have to complete work. So that's why, yeah.
I think I miss being on campus because I would, when I used to drive, I would go early. Like I'd give myself like half an hour to an hour early, and then I would just do work while I was there because it's that sort of environment, like other people are doing work. So it's very easy to just sit there and do work because you feel peer pressured almost. Like I have to do this because I'm sitting in the library.
Yeah.
And I don't have that here.
Yeah.
Like my one brother's doing like schoolwork, but it's completely different. He doesn't want to sit together. So
Oh,
if anything, I would be like being like, no, you're gonna do this. You're gonna sit here and you're gonna do this. And then he would get annoyed with me. So there's no force helping me stay on task.
no force.
There's no force. Yeah.
Oh god.
Just me, myself, and I.
Yeah, it's really difficult. You get
Oh.
distracted so much more just because it's like, oh, there's some food there in the snack cabinet that I want to indulge in.
I mean, we were distracted before we even started the podcast, so
Yeah.
It's fair.
Right. It's because of lack of social interaction, okay?
it's very true, especially over a Christmas break and not being able to, just go and see people because of everything that's going on. I know that with winter break is like not a fun time in my home. I'm like, okay, we got presents. Okay, I'm just
That's it.
I did like I sent out Christmas cards and I got some back. That was nice.
That's cute.
I said I would send one to you and you never sent me your address. So how was I supposed to get it to you, Joanna? I'll send you one now. You want a Christmas card?
I want to
Send
New
me one
Year's card
now.
now.
I'll make you a New Year's.
Valentine's Day card.
I can send you Valentine's Day cards.
Yeah.
You have to send me your address. Don't say them.
Podcast. Listen,
No, I'll send.
a lot of things that I haven't said on the podcast today. Thank goodness.
Well, speaking of like support systems, do you find that it helps you stay organized, like talking to other people from the program?
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's really good to wake up in the morning and like be in like a group chat and find out what's going on in class and like freak out mentally when you figure out that you have a paper that's due in like 2 hours. I know for SoCo, when we were in class, when we were in, that was yesterday, right? I don't even know what day it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yesterday's class, yeah.
Yeah. There was a moment where Denise had said the development paper or the development.
Yes.
And I sat there for like a good 10 minutes. And I was thinking in my head, I'm like, what? Like, and then she's saying that some people haven't handed them in yet. And I'm like, did I hand it in? What is this paper? And so I'm like looking online everywhere. Like there was no like, I went to assignments on Blackboard and they only offered like just the information on what the paper was supposed to be about and nowhere to submit it. And I'm like, did I email this to her? So I like go and I check my emails to her and I'm like, I didn't email anything to her. I'm like, what is going on? And so part of me was like, okay, this is a new laptop. I have none of my assignments from my previous laptop. So like I went on Word, I checked for developmental paper, nothing there. And so in my head, I'm thinking, oh my goodness, I didn't do this. And then I found it like 2 minutes after that. And I, breathed a sigh of relief to a certain extent after having a heart attack, but
Yeah, it was
we handed that in November.
Yeah, that was, yes.
A while ago.
Well, it was one of our last assignments. Sorry?
No, I was gonna say I think it's also necessary to have like all of your assignments just crossed off as you're going down.
Yeah.
Because after that break, I feel like it's been a year since we've been at school. Like
it did feel very long. Yeah, it did.
As much as I don't like group projects that much, I've actually really liked them this year to an extent.
Who's part of your group right now?
Well, no, because you feel like you're part of it. You have a task. Can't let your group down. So even if like I have a reading group for readings for the one class, and I'm like, I have to do this tonight because I can't let so and so down. I'm gonna go in there and tell them what my reading was about, and it's been helpful to like check in with people. It's been keeping me organized because I'm like, okay, I have to do this. This is a set deadline so that we can do this, so that we can then present. A lot of presentations.
Yeah, a lot of them this semester.
Yeah.
It was funny because both Joanna and a friend of hours outside of this podcast, we're both asking, am I in a group for this SoCo project? And I had to tell both of them, we are in a group together. That's why we have a group chat on Facebook.
We have a group chat on Facebook?
Yes, we have a SoCo group chat. So we made it because we were doing that reading thing as well, like you, Sarah, but we stopped.
Oh.
So we made that for the reading thing and for the group project.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm in like 5 group chats.
Oh, I have a lot of group chats.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Some are for projects that are done, so I should probably just delete the group chat, but I haven't.
This one's SoCo, baby. That's what
Yes,
it is. That's why I'm like, group chat.
Mm-hmm.
I know that we're in B-Ed Survivors. That's a good one.
Yeah, that's from a project from last semester. But yeah.
That's a fun.
We haven't messaged in that one in a while, I don't think. Have we?
Yeah, no.
No, I think the last one was New Year's. We just sent.
We should get the group back together.
And then there's one called IS Learners Bum Diggity.
Oh, I'm not in that one.
I have a group chat called Dark Web.
Yes.
It's for my presentation, but it's just called Dark Web. Yep.
Thank goodness you explained that.
Yeah. No. It's for a project, but it's done now. I can probably delete it. I have a group chat from my undergrad that we still talk in, and I think it was about our seminars.
Mm-hmm.
And so it gets renamed all the time. It was the 3 Fates for a while. It was 3 Musketeers. I think now it's the Coven. But I like group chats. They're great.
Our group chat title is JKS, like jokes.
I didn't think of it like that.
It's ironic.
Yeah, it's pretty ironic.
Yeah.
I was thinking about it the other day. I'm like, jokes. Because we're jokes.
Hey.
Well, I'm glad that, we have become friends. We can keep each other at check with organization.
All the time.
Reminding each other about projects, asking if we've handed projects in.
Yeah, no. What do we have to do next week?
It's a great support system, okay?
It is, honestly.
Well, Caitlin and I have a presentation next week.
Yeah.
For intermediate?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I think mine is not next week, but the week afterward.
Mm-hmm. And then I have a module due next week.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
and then our reading responses are due the week after.
We don't have SoCo class, so don't forget
we have to watch a movie.
Mm-hmm.
Fun.
I'm sad it's not on Netflix because we could have had a Netflix party. That's besides the point. That has nothing to do with this
Zoom
podcast.
share it.
We could.
We could, in a way, yeah.
Anyways, do you have any final thoughts on organization in this online learning world we're in?
Stay on top of your work always. Rely on your friends, or make a friend in each class so then you have someone to rely on in case.
Honestly. If not for like assignment dates, just for like notes, like note taking.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody gives you
pen. Oh, sorry.
Get a new pen out.
Invest in a good one, okay?
Invest in some good pens.
Good quality pens.
Make sure you update your agenda if a new syllabus comes out so you're not writing your exam and not knowing what you're writing about.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if you're confused, ask questions, because if you're confused, someone else is confused.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably true. Honestly,
from my experience, if you're confused, there's someone else who's also confused and they just don't want to ask.
I think it always
ask a friend.
Communication, right? Like even just talking to a teacher or professor, just being like, hey, I'm being honest with you right now. I completely forgot we had that assignment. Is it possible that I could hand it in to you, even if it's just a day late?
Yeah. And if you're on top of your stuff and you're reading assignments early and you're like, oh, I could wait until they say it, just ask them. Because if you want to do it early and you're on top of your stuff, I'm sure they'll be happy.
Mm-hmm.
Showing initiative.
And make sure you write down what assignments you've done.
Yeah.
You're not freaking out. And maybe like cleanse your group chat messages, because like you sometimes get confused because you're a part of so many, and then you're like, what project is this for? What assignment?
Yeah.
See how organized we are. I feel like this was a really interesting topic to start off on after our break, because we're all
After
like,
break, yeah.
so.
Well, our topic next time will be about procrastination versus self-care, which I think we have almost brought up in every episode about procrastination, so it'll be good.
Caitlin, you're leading that one.
Oh, it's gonna be fun.
Well, if you're still listening, thank you for listening to us ramble on about organization.
Yes, and ask questions.
Yes, you have any questions? Put them down below.
I mean, technically our next episode is our second last one, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So if you feel like you need to ask us something, and believe me, we are open to all kinds of questions, feel free. We have so many different platforms, Spotify, Instagram, YouTube, SoundCloud. I don't know why, but easiest to upload to Spotify. But yeah, subscribe. Like, we're Zooming Through Education for everything. So yeah.
We should start putting like a label. Zooming Through Education right here.
That's on you. I'm doing my job.
Yes, you are.
Anyways, thank you for listening. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.